Now we're talking in these last couple minutes as if you are not in both operating within a highly, highly political environment.
Yeah.
So Steve has just laid out a long-term working relationship that you build a legacy, you work closely with teachers in the buildings, curriculum, so forth. You as a superintendent, Tom, and writ large nationally, you're reporting to a school board that wants change right now. Or a school board changes and they want something different right now. So given the political environment, how does that complicate achieving what Steve laid out?
Well, there's no question that it complicates it. That's not the issue. It's how do you deal with it personally on that complication. And I'm convinced that it's a communication issue between the superintendent and the school board and the elected officials to have a buy-in on that strategy, buy-in of the vision, and not to say that we need to temper or slow the reform issue, but just show that there's a systemic approach to it. And then, unfortunately, sometimes when that vision is not aligned, then it's counterproductive to do it, and one or two of the elements have to change, but that's on the negative side. On the positive side, he or she as the superintendent makes that case for the vision, and there is some change. Steve mentioned the curriculum. When I arrived at Providence, the curriculum work had been ongoing for 2 years. I didn't have a magic curriculum. I recognized the solid work behind that and the participation of the teachers. In fact, you look at the standard curriculum, you see the 300 Providence teachers who were part of preparing that. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to make those changes, but you have to have that alignment of vision.
Okay. So right now, we live in very contentious times in education. A number of governors have tried to make big changes at the state level that have touched off some real heated political battles, most recently in Ohio. We live in a time when teachers, we hear frequently, they feel like they're being bashed and they're being blamed for all the things that are going on with our kids or not going on with our kids. So on the one hand, collective bargaining is under attack. At the same time, we have states that are struggling mightily with financial issues, and school districts. We know that Providence had this exact thing happen, and there was some difficulties. So we've got unions collective bargaining under attack, unions under attack, teachers feeling like they're under attack. We've got money problems. We've got a lot of pressure from the president on down to improve performance. These are difficult times. How does that change the game at the local level? How can you, I mean, it's just difficult times to do this kind of work. How do you?
I think at the local level, you're painfully aware of all of those efforts and all of that pressure. But I think you have to have an inner core that says this is the way to approach it. We understand all of those pressures. We understand it, and the sense of urgency, the immediacy, etc. But unless you can fall back on I'm in place. This is what I intend to do. This is the path we follow until someone removes or you elect not to be part of that any longer for a host of reasons. Then that allows you to begin the conversation with the union president for the kids. So it's not recognizing the issues. I think it goes to how do you deal with it on a personal and professional level in working it forward. Not wishing them away, but certainly putting them in context that you have that vision and it'll be part of that effort.
How do you feel about that? The hostility, it seems like, towards collective bargaining. Is it hurting things nationally, and how do you deal with it on a local level?
Well, it obviously affects teacher morale, and you know, we would often kid you can't have the philosophy that the meetings are going to continue until morale improves. But all too often you have governors, quite frankly, that see this as a political opportunity. And some superintendents. I'm going to come in, I'm going to take the union on. I'm only going to stay here for 3 years. And I'm going to blow it up, and I'm going to get my next gig. Or, Governor, I want to be recognized, you know, in certain political feels as a making the tough decision, taking on those unions that really don't want anything that's good for kids. Those are non-starters. That doesn't work. But it exists. Going back to the original question, the previous question about the politics, you have these crises and you can look at them as opportunities. Say, okay, we have limited resources. So if I can't offer raises, if I can't offer benefits, I can work towards making the conditions that people work under better. That really don't cost anything. Ask them give them a voice in that workplace. And from a policy standpoint, you could have political, not politicians, but political leaders, statesmen, that will create an environment where there will be that 5-year, 10-year vision, no matter who the union president or the superintendent is going to be. Right. Use this right now as an opportunity. I think everyone realizes things have to change. Everyone realizes this is a new day. We're going to get out of it, but take this opportunity to say, okay, we know the data's clear that until we figure out how to keep superintendents around longer and get union presidents to take more risks, from a political policy standpoint, we're going to create environments where we're going to incentivize the behaviors that, with the limited resources we have, that we want.